Steampunk is something that is based on history, but it's not tied to the reality of history the way we know it. It's based on an alternative history idea. What if? What if the age of steam power, what if the, let's say the 1860s, 1870s, or 1880s Industrial Revolution continued on? We never developed the microchip. All right, what if that happened?
Steampunk is kind of a mix between Victorian and post-apocalyptic. It's a really neat aesthetic. I think a lot of times if you glue a gear on it, it makes it steampunk, but it's so much more than that.
Well, steampunk is technically a literary subgenre of a subgenre. So technically, we are Victorian science fiction. And the word was coined by K.W. Jeter, one of our great authors. When he was being interviewed in 1987, they said, "What do you call this literary subgenre you're writing?" And he said, "Well, I don't know, steampunk." And so it kind of stuck with us since that time. I would say, if you think of the novels of Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, any idea about what the Victorians had about the future, based upon their technology, which was steam technology.
It allows you to really take your imagination off in many different directions, and there's really very few rules, actually.
A lot of the stuff you see it on is fashion-oriented, a lot of wearables.
You're going to see a lot of Victorian garb because we're basically coming from the time of Queen Victoria.
We spent the last 30 years or more in American society perfecting dressing down. Men are discovering that it's kind of cool to, you know, put on a nice shirt and vest and a tie. Although our clothing is based on Victorian clothing, people take a lot of artistic license with it, a great deal. We wear a lot of goggles because, of course, in that type of an environment with a lot of steam power, you're burning a lot of coal and the air is just full of soot all the time. And a lot of people have respirators for the very same reason.
This area is it's prime breeding ground for steampunk. It's just the history of it, the Comstock, the Victorian era. I mean, we've got Virginia City. People dress up like this all the time in Virginia City.
I think we have a lot of beautiful steampunk artwork because the time travel has influenced people's perspective on life and kind of made everybody think outside the box. Oh gee, well, I guess I could make an arm with cogs that moves like this, and if I lose my arm in the World War, they can just build me a new arm that works on steam.
It allows you to unleash your imagination and think of things in a mechanical way, where you're taking everyday items, like an octopus might be wearing a top hat or have a monocle, and there might be a flying machine, but it has giant mechanical wings instead of being a normal airplane. I like that kind of aesthetic because it frees you to just unleash your imagination.
I brought along a few of my sideshow style banners. I brought one about shrunken heads from the Amazon. I brought one called Iron Man, which is a steam-powered robot. Then I also painted a map backdrop. We thought would make a nice photo backdrop for people to come and it says, "See the world by airship." And so it has a map of the world in what it might be in an alternative future, where countries and borders are different than we see it today.
Our movement has encouraged a lot of making, a lot of inventions, and a lot of artwork. We just don't want more plastic things from China. We want things that we build, that we carve, that we work in leather.
Part of it, I think, is maybe it's a bit of a rebellion against this, the technology that takes over our world. You know, the technology of 150 years ago or so was something that was controlled. People controlled it. We pushed the levers, we turned the dials. You know, this stuff, this is different. This takes over our lives. But something that has style to it, something that has shape, something that's very real, something that's handmade. These things are becoming a contrast to this very boring industrial design kind of world that we live in. And I think that's part of the charm.
When you're living that close to the origination of things, it's very beautiful, it's very inspirational, and kind of different than today's world where everything is kind of plasticized.
You don't have to be a certain age or a certain demographic. There's people from all walks of life. That's one of the cool things about it.
We're sexy geeks who are creating a better future. We are emulating our Victorian ancestors, and that was a time when men were really gentlemen and ladies were really ladies, and there was a lot of respect for one another. We're a very friendly, loving group of people. If you want to be with somebody that will really give you support in kind of being creative with your life and making new things, Steampunks, we're here for you, and we love you.